It has been 10 years since The Force Awakens, but does it stand up to the test of time? Today, we are talking the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens, which would be the 10-year anniversary of Star Wars coming back to theaters after 10 years, which was, just all the tens,
Wow.
right? There's probably something magical there. But The Force Awakens, I think when you're talking about the sequel trilogy, hot button topic, people either really love it, really hate it. A few people are kind of in between. I'm kind of in between. I love The Force Awakens, and I'm not crazy about the other two. But I think most people are okay with The Force Awakens. Like, at a minimum, are okay with The Force Awakens. So I think this will be a fun discussion. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through just kind of some initial thoughts on The Force Awakens. We are going to talk about our theater experience looking back 10 years ago at that. Since it doesn't appear we're going to get a theater experience this year, we'll just have to reminisce on the old days.
Yeah.
It's weird that the sequel trilogy is the old days now, too.
Yeah,
Like
that's crazy.
decade old.
That's
There's kids
wild.
today who are
Yeah.
like, were you alive during the sequels? Yes, we were. Then we'll do just like,
man.
talking about the movie, what we like, what we don't like, plots, things like that. And then the speculation post The Force Awakens, which arguably was the most fun part of it. Like, oh, who is Rey? Right? That was like the $2 billion question from The Force Awakens is who is Rey? So we'll talk a little bit about that today. But first, I'll go in order of my screen. Ryan, initial thoughts on The Force Awakens.
I love it. It's such a fun movie. I had such a fun time with it. So much I saw it 5 times in theaters. And I would say
Nice.
out of the 5 newest or most recent Star Wars movies, I've seen it the most. It's my most watched. And it's
Nice.
I don't know. I don't care saying this, but I cried 9 times watching it the first time, and it was
Wow.
it was a mixture of like happy nostalgic
Yeah.
tears, but also
Yeah,
sad
sure.
tears. It was just a
Oh,
fun
nice.
time. Like I just enjoyed it. It was just
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like you said, 10 years, over 10 years since we got a Star Wars movie live action in theaters. The theaters were just exploding from joy. Everybody was excited because nobody thought, because George always said, nope, it's 6, that's it. But then he later decided, okay, maybe I'll do them. And then he sold it to Disney, and then we
Yeah.
got more, and it was like, we have more. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
just overall, and I don't care that it's a throwback. It's a fun movie. It's a great time. But
It's
I'll stop
fun.
there.
I agree with that. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think Ryan hit it on the head. It's fun, right? Like it's a great first movie because it doesn't try to do too much, and it is like it really takes its characters and they do get to just kind of set off and just do a lot of fun things, right? Like it's silly at the right times. It's got a good heart at the center of it. So I really enjoyed The Force Awakens. Like you said, I mean, it was crazy coming back to Star Wars after 10 years. Something a lot of us were just like, it's never going to happen. So yeah, no, I like The Force Awakens. It was, I think fun is probably the best word to describe the movie. It is just a lot of fun.
I agree with both of y'all. We'll talk more about it with the theater experience, but I saw, I've seen 5, well, I guess 6, 7, I forget Rogue One and Solo, but I've seen 7 Star Wars movies in person, starting with episode 2. The Force Awakens is up there with my top theater experience, just with like everything that came with it. And again, Kevin, I think fun is it, Ryan. It's a fun movie. Like, even in a vacuum, it's a very fun movie, because the movie, we'll talk about it, it's not in a vacuum anymore, but in a vacuum, it's a very fun movie. So I am pro The Force Awakens. Regardless of where the rest of it goes, I am pro The Force Awakens. So talking about our theater experiences, I'll start us off on this one, but I was in college when this came out. I was in my 20s, and I was a kid the last time Star Wars had come out in theaters in 2005. So like that was something like middle school at that time. And so now like you're in college, you're going with your college friends, and like you're just getting to be a kid again, right? Like just this excitement behind Star Wars coming to theaters, which I thought was a lot of fun. I was in Orlando for the premiere. And so we were at City Walk the day it came out. but we did not watch it at City Walk. But I remember taking a picture of the line at City Walk at like 9 a.m. And it was already like, if you've ever been to Universal where City Walk is, the movie theater's kind of like right in the middle of City Walk.
Yeah.
And the line was going back, down, and like all the way past where those mini golf courses are now. So like going all the way back towards the garages. So it was a ton of people dressed up waiting for Star Wars, and they were going to be waiting there for a long time too. Don't know why they were there so early, because like they have ticketed seats. But either way, that's what they were. Yeah, they were there for it. And then that night we went over to UCF over at like Waterford Lakes or whatever, and watched it over on that side of town. And really big theater there, was a lot of fun with a lot of friends that I had met working a job. We were all about the same age, all love Star Wars. And so we watched the movie, we cheered during the movie, and then afterwards it started the speculation. Like, oh my gosh, what y'all think about this, this, and this? So it was one of the most fun times I've had watching Star Wars in theaters. Kevin.
Yeah, I remember we went, because the official release was on a Friday, but you could catch the early releases on a Thursday. So we got the earliest one. I think it was like 7:30 Thursday night, and it's just, obviously there was still some excitement about the rest of the sequel movies, but this one, nobody knew what to expect, and everybody was just so pumped that Star Wars was back in theaters. And so just the vibe, just with the people and the costumes, and I mean, everybody, like, you could tell everybody, like, this is one of those things that they remember for their life, right? Like when Star Wars came back into theaters. And so it's funny because so Brittany went with us, and she was Star Wars fan through me, not on her own. And so
Star Wars fan
being in a
theater,
being in a theater with all these people dressed up, and I just remember, you're waiting, and it's the opening crawl hits, and just the cheers erupt in the theater. Was such a cool thing. And Brittany's like, what is happening? Like, I don't understand. I was like, it's fine, just watch. So it was just such a cool experience, because then throughout it, it's just everybody's laughing together, everybody's cheering together. It's just one of those movie experiences where everyone in there, this is where they want to be at that time, and everyone's genuinely thrilled to be a part of this new experience. So yeah, I mean, as far as movie releases go, gosh, that's definitely one of the biggest ones, because man, the hype around Star Wars coming back was just massive. So man, yeah, it was a fun time in the theater.
Is Brittany still a fan, or did that kind of turn her off?
She does watch things with me still, so she's kept up with most of the projects with me.
Awesome.
So yeah,
this is me on Star Wars release night. This is me and my buddies in front of the Force Awakens picture.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of fun. My friend had like the Stormtrooper surfboard going on.
It's a cool shirt.
Like, we're just beaming. We just watched it, and we're like so excited that we were there. So we liked it enough. Back. Yeah, you're good.
There's a kid knocking on something.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we watched that movie, and like, you got to think like college guys, like, to stop and want to take a picture with the big Force Awakens board after you leave. It was that big of a monumental experience for us. So it was a lot of fun. Ryan, I know you've mentioned a little bit about your theater experience, but go in on a little more detail.
Yeah, it was actually cool. I ended up, my supervisor ended up being there. My supervisor at the time, he was a huge fan, so me and him would always nerd out on Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anytime I ran into him, so he was there, and it was just packed. Like, everybody was just sitting in there, full room, waiting for the start. Everybody just, talking, just really excited about it. And then I mentioned in the last podcast, there was only one trailer. It wasn't 25 or 30 minutes of trailers. It was The Secret Life of Pets, the animated movie, and then it went right to the Lucasfilm logo. It was just amazing. Like, I
straight to it.
Yeah, because it was premiere night. So they obviously, the theaters knew it was a big deal. Star Wars was back, so they were probably like, let's not make them wait. We'll do one trailer just to, get some promotion or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it went right into it. And yeah, I saw it Thursday premiere night. I saw it the next Friday. Then I saw it the next weekend. I don't know if I saw it 5 weekends in a row or 4 weekends in a row, but I saw it 5 times total. It was a fun time, and just yeah. What else? Oh, I have so much. Actually, I wonder. Oh, sure.
I was going to say, I have a question for you. Did you skip concessions because you did not want to have to go to the bathroom during it?
I
Because
always
that's what
do because of that.
I skipped it because I was like, I cannot waste 2 minutes and miss anything in this movie. So I just sat there thirsty the whole time, just waiting for the movie to be over. No popcorn, no Coke, nothing.
Yeah, I always skip it because of that. Because I'm like, I do not want to get up for anything. But there's been times where I'm like, my throat is dry, and I'm like, oh, I should have like brought in a bottle of water or something. I'm dying right now. But yeah, I always skip concessions because I don't want to miss a second, even though, someone's going to put something online. But yeah, I had to see it
Yeah.
all. And I'm pretty sure Disney Springs is probably the same because you mentioned City Walk. That would probably have a super long line as
Oh,
well.
I
But
bet.
I just saw it locally. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was a fun experience. Everybody exploded in the theater as soon as the Lucasfilm logo was on the
Yeah.
screen. And just the whole time, everybody was cheering for every little thing, the reveal of the Falcon and I mean, you know what brought the fandom together before the movie came out? Chewie We're Home in the trailer. But I don't know if you want to get into that right now.
Oh,
But
that was
that's
so
like,
good.
that
Yeah.
brought everybody together. Everybody was ready to, get back into Star Wars. Well, I mean, I didn't give up on Star Wars, but
Yeah.
the people that did, that just brought all generations together. Chewie We're Home, and that was just an exciting time. And we get to see it in theaters. We got to see the OGs, and we got to see the new characters, and it was just fun. And they all got really great screen time and everything. Like everybody, they did everybody well, I would say. But yeah, I don't want to get into the movie part just yet. But yeah,
No, you're good.
awesome
Let's
experience.
Kevin, I asked Ryan this, but when you went to the theaters, did you skip concessions so you would not miss any of the movie?
I am trying to remember. I think we got there pretty early, so
So
I
you
think
had to eat some popcorn and
I
stuff.
don't do a ton. I mean,
Yeah.
Brittany's a big movie popcorn person. I just need a drink. That's usually
That's what
all
I skipped
need,
was the
so.
drink because I could not
Which
miss a
is
minute of
the
this.
thing that you shouldn't get, right? Like,
Yeah.
because then you got to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Well, I have a tip. I mean, I don't know if you guys already do this, but I always
Let's hear it.
I always run to the restroom during trailers
Because
just
they
so you know
last
I'm
so
empty.
long.
Yeah,
They do
so I'm
last
like, okay,
forever. Yeah.
So long.
I'll get it all out,
That
and then
is
I'll be good for the
forever.
That's funny. So let's get into the movie overview. So we'll talk like what we liked, what we didn't like. But first, I just want to start with the opening crawl. The opening crawl for this one and the build up to it was great as well. Ryan, you mentioned it, like with the Chewie We're Home, all the advertisements, the trailers, they did so good. Like with There's Been an Awakening, if you felt it, all that. That's what the original trailer was. And it starts off with like Luke Skywalker has vanished. And so like we're going into this movie and like you start off 3 words in and you're like, okay, Luke's not here. And then you like are introduced to the new bad guy, which is the First Order, which we knew about through like the promotional things and stuff like that. But you just get right into like, okay, Luke's not here. And then you get introduced to all of your new characters. You start off with, I guess, Kylo Ren, and you got Poe, and you've got Finn, and then very shortly after, you've got Rey, just right as soon as it starts. And I thought one thing for this movie, and again, kind of looking at it in a vacuum of the sequel trilogy, they did really good on putting the focus on Finn and Rey early on. Like Poe, he gets written off pretty quick, but Oscar Isaac, he's a great actor. And so when he is in it, he's great as well. It's funny that he talked them into like surviving for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But you get just such a great focus on Finn and Rey. And I think Daisy Ridley and John Boyega are very strong actors as far as Star Wars is concerned. They're towards the top, as is, Adam Driver, Oscar Isaac. They didn't miss on their sequel trilogy casting on like anything, I don't think. Great actors and actresses. And then again, Han Solo kind of steals the show as well, as is intended. He's just a great mentor for these characters. So as far as like, not to like bash on the prequels or anything, but you come into Star Wars and you're like, oh, is it going to be cheesy lines? And are they going to say, I hate sand and things like that? And this movie didn't have that. Like it just delivered, like it's a good movie, which is why there was $2 billion spent going to watch it, because there's not like cringy scenes and stuff like that. Just a lot of great action, good acting. It was recorded on film, so it looked kind of like that original Star Wars feel that we hadn't seen in a while. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a very strong movie overall. Now, what do y'all think? We'll just jump into this one head first. The Luke Skywalker is vanished part. We're not talking The Last Jedi, like why he's vanished or results or anything like that, but just Luke Skywalker is vanished. Did that kind of disappoint you when you showed up to the movie and realized you wouldn't be seeing a lot of Luke Skywalker right off the bat? Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, I was gonna say the entire movie, the first showing, I went to every time a new scene came. I'm like, is he coming? Is he gonna be here? Is he gonna be here? Like
Yeah.
that entire movie, I was
Yeah.
waiting. I was
Yeah.
like, now, and then we get him at the end. So I wasn't bummed out. I mean, I was intrigued by it, but yeah, I was just like, and of course, we all thought, by the time it gets to the duel and the lightsaber is moving in
It's
the
gonna be
snow,
Luke.
like it's gonna be Luke, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it didn't bum me out. But yeah, I was like probably giving myself anxiety now, but it was fun.
Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, you were ready to see him, right? Like
Yeah.
you go into the movie like you want to see Luke Skywalker again. But I don't think the movie suffered for the way it went in this movie, because with this line it did create like a sense of like mystery, like, well, what is going on? Like, why is Luke gone? Like all of that surrounding this other story that really didn't have to have Luke in it, right? Like it really relied so heavily on the combination of the new characters and Harrison Ford. Like those two things together really did a great job of solidifying kind of what this movie is. And so while you go into it wanting to see Luke, like at the end of it, I don't feel like I missed out story wise because he wasn't there until the end. And I did. I liked the sense of mystery of like, oh, well, like what is going on with Luke Skywalker?
Yeah.
So that was, I liked that part of the movie because there's so much at that point you don't know, just so much.
Yeah. I'm with y'all. Like, I think they, for 3/4 of the movie, at least 2/3 of the movie, whatever, I guess it goes in 3 acts. They did a great job of like stringing out like, oh, when's Luke going to be here? When's Luke going to be here? And Ryan, I mean, when like pulling the lightsaber, I was with most people probably. It was like, oh, is this when Luke's going to get it? Or is Finn still alive? Like, I don't know why, but I wasn't expecting Rey to grab it, even though like she had already done the mind control and other things like that. So why did I not think that? I don't know. But was still waiting on Luke. And, when he does finally show up at the end, I thought that was a killer idea where it's like, because then we've got 2 years of wondering, she found him. What's he going to do now?
Yeah.
And again, we're not talking about what he did do, because I know that's not everybody a fan of it. But like, just you build up, and you get like 90 seconds of Luke Skywalker maybe at the end. And he flips it and you see his robotic hand, which was super cool. So I thought the reveal was great. Pans out on that island and then cuts to the credits. I thought that was like a really smart idea for them as far as building up the hype for the next movie. I thought that was very good, and then a very delayed payoff for us as well. Even though it was a very short scene, it was a cool scene when he finally shows up. One qualm I have with how the whole hunt for Luke Skywalker deal goes, and Kevin, I think we've talked about this a little bit maybe in the past when we talked about The Force Awakens. But again, for 2/3 of the movie, they're doing really good, like pushing along. We got to get to Luke. We got to get to Luke. We got to get to Luke. So you got, the legend of Luke, because Finn knows about him from like a negative side of things, and Rey knows about him from like a positive side of things. Like he's a legend. Kylo Ren wants him dead. Poe wants to get him for the Resistance because Leia just knows if they get him, they can win. And ultimately they do because of it, if you can look at it from that point of view. But you go through all this, and Han Solo talks about like how Luke ran away, and so you're building up all this tension. And then in the third act, it's like, hey guys, let's do a side quest to go blow up this planet that just blew up a lot of other planets. And you kind of forget about Luke for a little while. But it serves, I mean, you got some great things happening we'll talk about in a minute during all that, like blowing up Starkiller Base and the Han Solo, Ben Solo scene. But you do just kind of forget that, oh yeah, we're hunting for Luke Skywalker in the midst of all this. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, R2, you can wake up now and get us to Luke really quickly, because we got to go back to him really quickly and in this movie. So that's probably my biggest issue with the movie. It doesn't bother me so much that it's like a clone of A New Hope. it bothers me more that they just dropped the main plot for like 30 minutes and then brought it back at the very end. So I don't know if y'all had considered that, but that's one of my really few issues with the movie.
It didn't
Yeah.
bother me. I honestly. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say, Kevin?
No,
No,
you
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it didn't bother me. Honestly, I felt like the pacing was good. I didn't mind that because I mean, you do have to destroy the Star Killer base
Yeah.
because it's not a, like a Death Star. It destroys systems rather
Right.
than just a planet or a moon at a time. So it was very urgent. They had to take it out. So it didn't bother me that they did put it to the side for a bit. Um, it's what it's the resistance. What they have to do. You know, everything is urgent. They're just always constantly moving, always trying to find ways to defeat the
First
Empire or the
Order.
First Order. So yeah, it didn't bother me. Although one thing I'll say, side note, I thought the first time I saw the Force Awakens in the hologram room, I thought Snoke was going to be a big person, just
Well, yeah, yeah.
because the room was big. So obviously
Yeah.
they're going to project him bigger. But for some reason, I thought he was like a giant person. And then the
Kevin,
second
did
time
we
seeing
talk
it,
about
I'm
that
like,
too?
oh, I guess not.
Because I thought that as well.
I feel like we did. Yeah.
I think I thought that too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody else shows up as like a 20-foot hologram, do they? Anywhere?
No.
So
No.
Palps
Just
does, but
that
it's like
one.
shoulder up. But
Yeah,
Snoke
like a
was
bust.
in his
Yeah.
throne.
it's like a zoomed in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
was like, okay, we got a big giant villain now. This is gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see what he does
Yeah.
in the next one.
He was less than interesting on a lot of levels, it turned out.
The speculation on him was interesting, though.
Yeah,
It was very-
was.
We will
It
talk
was.
about that. Kevin, what did you think about Luke? Or the lack thereof?
Yeah, so I don't mind that it moved over to Star Killer because I mean that's a fun segment, right? Like the
Mhm.
infiltration.
The most fun segment, one might say.
Yeah, I mean there's a really great comical side to Han and Chewie and Finn trying to break into this place. And there is some tension to it. You're trying, there's a lot that goes on there, and then the battle that ensues is a lot of fun. But as much as I don't mind them switching away from Luke, like kind of like you said, but I feel like they needed a better reason. Like the fact that R2 wakes up at the end is like, oh yeah, I got the rest of that map. Like he could have woken up earlier and they could have just been like, well, we can't do this now. We got to go get Starkiller. And so I'm not sure why the R2 thing needed to be belated, why he just stays asleep. I thought that was just slightly clunky, right? Because I don't think it would have made a difference if he woke up earlier. And then you have a real good reason why they're not going to get Luke. It's because of Starkiller base, other than the fact that just, no, R2 is still sleeping, so we can't go get him.
He's sad.
He is sad.
I get that.
Luke.
I know. But I feel like it could have been both. Like he could have been sad and asleep, and they could have had the urgency to go to Starkiller. I don't know why that had to be like the thing right at the end.
Well, because
I don't
they
think
had
it
to
adds
get to Luke
anything.
right at the end.
Right, but I don't think doing that R2
Yeah.
moment at that point adds to it. I like the end. Like I like the cut on Rey and Luke because it's not, while it's a cliffhanger, it's also a really sensible place for this thing to conclude because this is what the mission was, and it concludes on this mission. So as much as a cliffhanger it was also a satisfying cliffhanger.
Literally.
Yeah. On a cliff. Yes. A literal cliffhanger. Now,
Man.
So moving kind of from Luke, because I mean, you want to talk about too, just like in general, who are you going to use to drive this movie to go find someone? Hunting for Han Solo or hunting for Leia would probably be like no knock on either of those characters because we're really about to gush over those characters. But if you're hunting for Luke Skywalker, that's a little different, right? He's the hero of Star Wars. So I think that was a good choice to be like, Luke Skywalker has vanished, draws you right in. Han Solo's vanished. You're like, again, who's he hiding from this time? Right. So
yeah,
wouldn't have had as big of a deal. But let's shift from Luke to Han now. I think Han Solo is the greatest part of this movie, and that is not like a bold statement. I mean, he was supposed to be the greatest part of this movie. It was Harrison Ford agreed to come back to Star Wars, which at that point we all knew Han Solo was going to die. That was the spoiler there because Harrison Ford agreed to come back. But I mean, I don't know that I had like the craziest of high hopes that Harrison Ford is just going to show up and steal this movie and it be like, he's the driving force. I was kind of expecting the Han Solo treatment from the original trilogy, right? Like he's a big part of it, but he's not the part of the movie. But here he was the part of the movie. You get like the Han Solo related to the Skywalkers that, his character arc, and Kevin, we've talked about this before with like the sequel trilogy, but Han's character arc is probably the best one of Luke, Han, and Leia's because it's just so in character with him with I would say no complaints. Like Han has kind of always ran away from his troubles, or at least he's on the way running away from his troubles. And then here we see, he's kind of had a hard falling out with family over some tough circumstances and he's drawn back in, but this time he doesn't run away from his troubles because it's his son, right? He's the dad and he's going to be the one who goes and makes this right. And then that ultimately, is driving you to that bridge on Starkiller Base. And I mean, as soon as he yells Ben, like everyone knows what's going to happen when he walks out there. And it was so sad. You're just kind of waiting on it. And he's holding the lightsaber and you're like, is he going to leave with Ben? Like, is this going to work out? And then of course, it doesn't. But I will say just building him up, getting him back in the rebellion or the resistance, and then him getting right back in the thick of the fight. I mean, with Chewbacca, he delivers some great lines as well, very Han Solo-esque, especially on Starkiller Base, like so comedic in the face of this big, hey, we're going to go blow up another one of these things. And even, and how he dies and wrapping things up there. His character, it's like they just put a bow on Han Solo, went right back around. And even you can jump ahead to episode 9 with that surprise scene with him in it. And it just adds to it. And so I think if anything, the sequel trilogy did right, they did Han Solo right. Like they did not miss there. They added a lot of edification to his character, I would say.
Do you think it's his best part in all the Star Wars?
Oh, Empire is good.
Yeah. Stuff
I would say Empire and then The Force Awakens.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Empire is kind of his movie of the originals
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, from the beginning, like he's the guy that rescues Luke and gets him out of Hoth, and so Empire is probably a little bit, but man, no. To your point, like I was always a big Han fan growing up. Like he was, as a kid, he was really kind of like that first roguish archetype of a character as a kid that I really came in contact with, and I was just like, this is such a great character. Like it's so fun. And I mean, my mind was blown that this same guy you're telling me this guy's Han Solo and Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah.
Like the fact that this same guy just held both of those legendary statuses. Like, and so to have him come back and reprise this character, like the ease and the perfection to which he just slips right back into Han Solo in this movie is so great. Like, it feels like the exact same character. Which, man, I can't even imagine how hard that is to go through your acting career and play so many different roles and then come back to something like that and just you're the same, like the exact same character. Han's so good in this. I really think he's kind of the unit that ties everything together with Rey and with Finn, and then of course his connections with Maz, and like he's such a central point to the plot, but also just like the emotion of the story. I agree, man. Like without the focus on Han Solo in this movie, I don't think it works nearly as well as it does. And that scene on the bridge, man, like that if of all the complaints people have about the rest of the sequel trilogy, the way they tie that back in to mean something, so that this is not just it's a father trying to save his son in this movie. No, it's a father who does save his son. We see later. So just the fact that this event where he dies later on is so impactful and meaningful for Ben's character. Like they handled that perfectly here, and they handled that part perfectly, I thought, in Rise of Skywalker. So yeah, I mean, Han Solo from start to finish in the sequels is just great. I mean, I don't think I could have asked anything more from his character.
I'm with you there. Yeah. And also, I want to throw in too on the whole Han Solo portion. He's the perfect bridge Well, you still got a whole Han Solo comment to make. So the Han Solo deal, if you're talking about bridging the new characters to the old characters, that's what he does. Because you got to figure out, hey, how do we strategically get these people in here? It's like, oh, they end up in Han's ship, and then they go from there. I just thought that was a really great storytelling call as well, to make it that way, where Han, like, he's showing up with these new heroes and he brings them essentially to the Resistance, where the Resistance kind of gets to him. But it's a good, hey, here's the people I'm with, and this is an old stormtrooper, and this girl, there's something special about her because everyone's asking about her, and Han says something about who she is to Maz Kanata on Takadana. But yeah, I thought that was a great call there that just made his character even better, because he brings these new characters in and makes us like them even more by being their leader, kind of like the Ben Kenobi role in A New Hope. Ryan, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Sorry for doing that. But yeah, he's definitely a mentor to them. I like that. That's what I liked about it. He was definitely a mentor to both Rey and Finn. That was really cool seeing him do that. He kind of got like a great arc. Like this movie gave him like a great arc to his character, because he was a mentor to the new characters, which was phenomenal. I wasn't expecting that. Like you said, you knew he would be in it, but you weren't sure he would have this big of a role, this impactful. So I really like that he took them in like that. Also, he was telling them that he believes in the Force at this point. He'd seen it all, and another part to his character arc, he told them that it's all true, and he told them everything about Luke, and I was like, that's awesome. I think it's these moments in the movie that made me a bigger fan, because we talked yesterday about it. Like, I didn't dislike Han. I thought he was a cool character. He just wasn't at the top of my list of favorite characters. Yeah. But once I saw The Force Awakens, I was like, okay, he's a great character. He's one of my favorites, because he just, again, Empire's the best for Han, but yeah, I just love his arc to this movie.
Yeah. That's such a good point. He goes from hokey religions to, it's true, all of it, the Force, the Jedi. I mean, he's lived it. Can you imagine just like, I mean, I know this is just like a big fictional deal, but like this guy who thinks, he's just a scoundrel. He's not into any of this. And then somehow he gets swept up in this whole Skywalker ordeal. Yeah. He witnesses like, oh my gosh, we blew up a Death Star. We blew up another Death Star. I'm married to a Skywalker. My kid is a Skywalker. My brother-in-law is a Skywalker. My father-in-law is the worst. And then, he just gets swept up into all of this, and he's just like some no good guy goofing off in the galaxy for money, and gets swept up into this big story, and ultimately, dies for the cause and helps spark it coming back around to whatever we see at the end of episode 9. Like, he plays a great role in that. It's a well-written character. Very well-written character, for sure.
Yeah, I just realized now, and I'm pretty sure everybody else probably realized this early on, but I thought of him as this character, but I didn't think about it into detail now, because, when you're thinking about Force Awakens, you're thinking of all the key moments from A New Hope that came into it. And I did think he was Obi-Wan of this movie, old Ben of this movie. But yeah, he really was, because he was the mentor, like I mentioned before. He was the mentor, and he's talking about the Force, telling them about it, to the new characters, just like with Luke. So yeah, I always thought about him as old Ben, but now this conversation like really brings it around. And of course, he gets his death in the middle of the movie, or towards the end of the second act.
One of the clones kind of it. Like he gets brought back into the same old fight, like there's a lot of parallels there. Yeah. Well, that's a good segue, Ryan. Let's talk about, I think it's a strength and a weakness to this movie. I remember this movie being a lot a safe movie. I think that's what a lot of people said, right? Like it carbon copied A New Hope, because you've got the Death Star, but it's a planet now, so we just made it bigger. And you've got another empire, you've got another rebellion, you've got a masked guy with a red lightsaber, you've got Han Solo mirroring the whole Kenobi thing. You've got this new Force user from a desert planet. A lot of commonalities between the two. And I'm probably missing some as well. But at the same time, yes, was it the most daring thing they could have done? It was not. George was going to go off into the microbiome of the Force and do a lot of things that I don't think would have made $2 billion, just saying. And I think they came in and J.J. Abrams played it safe. he has some comments on this that kind of don't paint him in the best of light about him just making it a carbon copy, but it was something Star Wars fans were familiar with. It looked really good. There was good acting. It was themes we knew. And like, if you go look at the prequels, episode 1 starts off, they blow up a big ship at the beginning of it, and you got this Jedi Master dying at the end of it. Like, there's some common points, throughout Star Wars, the way they go about things. But yeah, it was pretty close to A New Hope. And even George had some complaints as well, like there weren't enough new aliens or new ships, like very George Lucas things to say, right? Like they didn't do all these little things with it. But he goes and he was not happy about it, and I think that fueled the fire for a lot of other people that weren't happy about it. So I understand that, but having watched episode 8, where it was not a very safe movie, and I think kind of lost its way in subverting expectations at times, like, oh, we've got to do the opposite here. And it's like, oh, but 10 minutes later, we better do the opposite again. And then another 15 minutes, let's subvert those expectations one more time. And by the end of it, Rian Johnson has made you like just start expecting something you're not going to like is going to happen next in the movie. And so not for people that like the episode 8, that's fine.
Sure.
I love Rian Johnson movies, but you see two very different stories, one that was very safe, one that wasn't. And the vast majority, I believe, like the one that feels more like Star Wars. So there's some merit to that.
Yeah, I really like The Force Awakens. Like, I think the safe part of it is partly what makes it so fun. It's so familiar. It's so Star Wars, right? Like, just the feeling of what is Star Wars with the characters and just the plot line. Like, it was fun Star Wars. But I do wonder, did that make that transition from 7 to 8 just so much more jarring? Maybe it would have been better to broach a new age of Star Wars, like keep it familiar, but also bring in some new stuff, right? That's really what the prequels did pretty well. Like, it was still very Star Wars, but it was very different from the original trilogy. I mean, very different in tone and in concept. So I do wonder, like, if we just kind of go back and like, let's kind of tell the same story, if that didn't help people try to look for something different in this sequel. Because then once 8 hit, people were like, whoa, this is, I think it was really jarring. And again, there's things I don't like about 8. There's things I do like about 8. But man, it is a massive tone shift between 7 to 8. And so, I mean, we know all the planning and writing around this trilogy did not go well, right? Like, it changed writers and directors and all those things so many times, which certainly didn't help. But you feel it, right? Like, the original trilogy was a thing. The prequel trilogy was a thing. This is like 3 different movies in a lot of ways. And so The Force Awakens not being its own thing may have, contributed to that a little bit more. Yeah. But again, I love the movie, right? So it is a give and take.
Yeah. Ryan, what did you think about it being pretty similar?
Man, I have so much to say. Hopefully
that's okay.
I didn't mind it. I mean, as I mentioned before, it's a fun, safe movie. It was a good idea at the time because, they needed everybody to come together again as a fan base and agree on something. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys or anyone watching, but I mean, JJ, he's obviously the face of it because he's the director, but I kind of feel like he was just taking the fall for it because he was the director. But I remember when Bob Iger's biography was released, I think it was 2019 maybe, I read some excerpts of it, the Star Wars section. It was in an article, and he was the one that decided it would be better to play it safe and do a throwback for The Force Awakens. And that's why George, because he was going to stay on as creative consultant, but once he knew they were doing a throwback, he was like, okay, I'm no longer interested. So it was really an odd thing. He thought it would be safer to do A New Hope again rather than getting weird, which I probably would have thrown people off doing. I would have liked it personally. I like when Star Wars gets weird, but and we've talked about this before as well. If 7 was different, then 8 probably would have been more well received. But because, you mentioned they were vastly different. One was safe, one was different. That kind of threw things off as well. But it was really, again, from what I read, it was more of an Iger thing than a JJ thing. So I don't want to, Throw it
And I
all
don't.
on JJ.
It's
Or,
hard to
Yeah.
argue with the results too. I mean, it made
yeah.
like
Yeah.
billions of dollars. So
Yeah.
I
And it's
imagine
fun.
there was a ton of noise coming from executive level behind all of these movies that probably did not help. So,
Yeah.
well, you got to
Yeah, it's a
think
lot.
about it. They just spent $4 billion on it, and this is your first. Like, I know
quite an investment.
Rebels had already happened.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't that technically Disney's first soiree into Star Wars was Rebels, and I'm sure that wasn't like making a ton of money, right? Because that's not what cartoons are about. But you get to the box office, that's where you can make your money back on your investment. So who's to blame them for being like, hey, we really need to knock a chunk out of this right here on this one movie.
They wanted to
And
make it back quick.
it worked. The sequels plus Rogue One made more money than what they spent on Star Wars. I think
And
even with the losses on Solo.
I'm sure we'll get some like tell-all unauthorized documentary in
I hope so.
2057 about everything.
2057.
That's the year. Got to give it a little time.
I
and
hope
then we'll
I'm still
find
alive
out.
then. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
I
want
want
to
to be here for
all
that.
Funny.
to pass
Yeah.
before they release it.
That may put some Star Wars fans from our generation 6 feet under if they have a big tell-all on the sequels. Yeah, but yeah, I mean it was a similar movie. George would say so. J.J. Abrams would say so.
Yeah.
Bob Iger apparently would say so as well. But again, it was safe played off, especially when you look at it, as far as how these movies age. I think this one ages the best of the three. But let's kind of move to maybe our last topic of the highlights of The Force Awakens. I don't have any other complaints outside of those two, by the way. It was hard coming up with any complaints. But let's talk about these new characters. You got the new big three plus Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. I mean, you can throw like Maz Kanata in there. You got some interesting new characters. BB-8, great droid. I don't think initially, I don't think they missed on these new characters. I mean, you've got Daisy Ridley, what an actress for being the lead in Star Wars. You got Luke Skywalker, you got Anakin Skywalker, and you've got Rey, right? So you've got Mark Hamill, Hayden Christensen, and Daisy Ridley. I think she's the best actor out of those three. Easily. I don't even think it's close. If you watch her audition when they release her doing that interrogation scene, and she is like in it, just sitting in some random chair auditioning for it. Just a different level there. So I think they did great there. Then you look at the villain, you look at Kylo Ren. Adam Driver is the best actor Star Wars has had, period. And you get him to be your complex villain, anti-hero type dynamic. And man, the two of them just do so well together on screen too.
Yeah.
They're so good. Then you've got the Finn being the stormtrooper turned good guy. That's a super interesting plot line there. Well, you've got Poe Dameron is kind of the middleman between Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. He's in the X-Wings, he's blowing stuff up, but he's also very much within the rebellion or the resistance as well. He's not some scoundrel out there. Now we learn later on, episode 9 he kind of was, but you you get him, not necessarily the baggage of either character, just he's really fun to watch, right? So that was fun there. BB-8, amazing droid, love BB-8. They don't miss on droids. So I just think, again, another reason this was such a strong movie is you're going to be introducing these new characters, and they did not miss on these new characters. Little frustrated that, they did Finn dirty. I will say that. That's a complaint I have, but that really magnifies in the next movie more so than this one. They just started to do him dirty in this one, and then they continue that on in episode 8. But great new characters, I think, here. I think they really did well on that too.
Yeah. I don't know that I feel like they did Finn dirty in this movie. In fact, I think he's probably one of the best new characters in The Force Awakens.
I agree.
Like you mentioned, like getting somebody from the other side and just like the overwhelming like panic attack stuff and him working through that and wanting to protect Rey. Like he's got a really good arc in this episode, in episode 7 that culminates in him standing toe to toe with Kylo Ren, which is it a little unbelievable? Maybe. I mean, he gets handled pretty easily once Kylo Ren gets sick of him. But I mean, from beginning to end, though, that's a pretty good arc for him to come into this place where he's trying to get out of this thing that he knows isn't right, but then he finds something that he does, like he escapes fighting because he hates it, but he finds something he does want to fight for instead. It's a good arc, you know, and I too hate that I don't know, I feel like it kind of falls apart with 8 and 9 with Finn. But I loved Finn in 7. To me, he's probably the most enjoyable to an extent character arc of the new characters in this. Nothing against Rey, like you know, like you said, Daisy Ridley is great in the role, and it's fun to get to know her as a character, and the play between the two of them is great in this one. But yeah, I was a big fan of Finn in 7.
Ryan, what you think about the new characters?
They were great. I thought the characters they created were great, and the casting was really good. They did such a great job with it. And Finn, Rey, Poe, Kylo, they were all great. I don't know if you know this, but at first, when they first started filming, John was using his regular accent for
Oh, really?
for like a
His
day, but
British
then
accent, yeah.
yeah, and then him and JJ decided, yeah, it's not really
That's
working.
funny.
So then he just did an American accent.
Not working.
And Poe, he do you remember the discussion that happened?
Well, he was not supposed to live after the crash.
Yeah, he was offered the part by JJ and he declined.
Yeah.
He's like every part I've played before this, I die. He's like as much as I want to be in Star Wars, I love it. I can't take it. And then JJ was like, okay, he's like, I'll be in contact with you. I forget if it was a day later or a week later.
Yeah.
But he contacted him and said, we wrote you into the rest of the movie. So I thought that was awesome, you know?
That is
Instead of
pretty
saying,
wild.
okay, we'll cast someone else. They're like, you know what? We want him in this movie. So I like that.
Yeah.
They were getting the people they wanted in it rather than just thinking, let's just do whatever we want. They were working with them, and I thought that was really great because they were excited to get people that were excited to be in it.
Yeah.
I almost called him Poe. Oscar was really a big fan, so I loved that a lot. And remember all the promotions? Remember these character posters?
Oh, yeah, they were so
These
good.
were so fun.
Yeah.
Finn with the saber.
That's where they fake you off there.
Yeah, that's the gotcha.
That's the gotcha. Kind of frustrating.
The new Jedi.
Yeah.
And he used the saber the most in the movie, too.
Yeah,
that's true.
Did.
He had two.
He fights a couple times with it.
On Takadana and in the forest. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
How ironic is it, you know, talking about the new characters, that Oscar Isaac Poe Dameron ends up being the one that has the best character arc, start to finish.
Yeah, his was great.
He's the only one, in my opinion, that they didn't screw up by the time you get to the very end of it. Like, at any stage, they didn't slip up on his character, because episode 8 is all Poe figuring out how to lead a rebellion.
Yeah,
he is good in 8.
His character is very well written in episode 8, and then in episode 9 he sees it come to fruition, right? So like just the decision, like, hey, we were going to let him just die in a crash at the beginning, and then it turns out he's your most well written sequel trilogy character, maybe, at least in my opinion. You know, everyone gets their own, but ironic how things work out there. And then of course, I mean, Kylo Ren, you've got, you know, a fallen Skywalker, very much a Legends type thing, right? That they pulled in there. He is it Jason Solo? Is that kind of who he's modeled after? If I got that right?
To an extent, yeah.
To an extent, yeah. I mean, there's a lot more source material on Jason Solo than there is Kylo Ren, but like he's the one that goes bad.
In terms of the Solo kid that goes bad, yeah.
So you got that going. And then he's kind of complex, though. Like, this movie, he's teetering between good and bad, it appears, until the very end. And he's got the Star Wars thing for the bad guy where, you know, Rey needs a teacher, join me. He's got all that down. Like, felt very much like Star Wars. So no complaints there. And especially just the way he fights in the movie. I love Kylo Ren's style. Like, even if, you know, they use they use the lightsabers kind of like these for filming this. They went kind of baselit on it to where it could look better and require, I think, less special effects. But I think it also kind of messed a little bit with the choreography of it. But the way Adam Driver fights is really cool. He's a big guy anyways, you know, kind of lumbering over everybody. And his style is very much built around that. And then Daisy Ridley fighting kind of like a Palpatine, which, you know, turns out. And that we'll get into the speculation here in a second. But I think they did really good with the new characters. So moving here kind of from the movie into the post-movie speculation. I think we have to touch a little bit about on the Force Awakens in Rey, right? Like she's the one who she has an awakening when they do the little mind thing, right? In canon, that's when it clicks for her, I believe, is the explanation. So she has the awakening. The whole question is, who is Rey? And then you get, and she's the one with the lightsaber, and her style is very much Palpatine-ish, like she does a lot of stabs to start off with. So with little Kenobi as well, I believe. But you got that when she has the saber on Takodana, she has all those flashbacks, and Ben Kenobi's talking to her. Just a lot there, and that really put us into a 2-year run up of who is Rey, and there was so much there that you could have went in like any number of directions, but a lot of the theories always kept going back to like, oh, she's a Kenobi or she's a Palpatine, and then I think there was even one where it was like it's Qui-Gon and Shami's granddaughter or something like that, because she kind of like dressed like Shami or something. I don't know. But everything kept kind of going back around there was clues that she could be a Kenobi. There was clues that she could be a Palpatine. And then you get like years past this, and Daisy Ridley said, there were some thoughts either way, right? Where I could have been a Kenobi granddaughter or something like that. And so it's fun that those little things were sprinkled in there for a reason. We will never get like an official, that was the thing. But you had a big Obi-Wan connection, which was on the surface kind of strange. Like, why is Obi-Wan the one talking through Luke's lightsaber to her in this vision? Could have been better choices if you're just wanting to not cause speculation, but they wanted to cause speculation. And then you've got the Palpatine fighting style. She's really good at everything. That's probably a complaint for the movie as well. But it's fun because it turned out to be true later on, despite how they landed that plane. But the speculation was a great time, all centering around who is Rey, who is Snoke, what is Luke Skywalker going to do, and it got us through 2 years of talking Star Wars.
I mean, like, for everybody, because everybody ended really excited after this movie, so then we had nothing to do for 2 years except figure out what in the world was going on here. So I mean, because I know it ranged from Kenobi to Palpatine to, there was some Luke Skywalker's daughter or granddaughter thrown in
Mary
there.
Jade type deal.
We were grasping at whatever we could. And it was a lot of fun, right? Like, because you had gone so long without having any sort of regular discourse about Star Wars. And so the fact that now everybody was excited and they were interested and they were thinking up all these theories and grabbing onto every single little detail in the movie, it was really just a lot of fun to hit the internet during that time period and just see all the stuff and see people excited about Star Wars. I mean, that's the thing I remember most. It's just like, man, Star Wars is like, it's a thing again. Like, people are really excited about it. So it was a lot of fun. Mostly Rey, and then the Luke stuff. Like, what is Luke going to do? Why is he here? Because at this point, there was still a lot we didn't know about his situation. So I loved the speculation. It was fun.
It was arguably more fun than the movie itself. I mean, I know like it's not, but just you watch a movie for 2 hours, but you speculate for 2 years. I mean, come on now. That's a good time, especially among Star Wars fans, because there's nothing we love more than trying to guess what's coming next and usually being wrong about it. Ryan, what did you think about all the speculation?
Yeah, so I don't know about you guys. I don't even know if you noticed this, and I don't know if this is just a Harrison Ford thing or if it was JJ's direction, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but every time Han and Rey would be interacting, Han would always give her a look, and it made me wonder, did before at this point when it was just The Force Awakens written, before Last Jedi was written, I wonder if JJ had in mind like who she was related to, because it made me wonder. I was like, does is it Han and Leia's daughter, or does he know it's Luke's daughter? Like, what is this? Like, he just kept giving her a look. Do you guys remember that? Every time they talked, he would always give her a look, and I'm like, I love this. What was it?
When it's capped off with the whole deal where they're in that cantina or her bar, the watering hole there, Maz Kanata's, and he says, "So who is the girl?" And Han leans in, and then someone walks in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's almost like the hint that Han knew who she was.
Yeah.
And so that was a big thing that people latched onto as well. I do remember that.
And you want to get into Snoke speculation?
I don't want to leave Rey yet. So
Rey, okay.
on the Rey speculation, what was your favorite theory? Mine was my favorite theory was that she was at Luke's temple, and then Kylo Ren spares her, wipes the mind, drops her off on Jakku, and then that explained like when they're like, "What girl on Jakku?" And then it's like, "Oh no, she's come back to haunt us." So that's kind of what I thought. Was she Han and Leia's daughter? Maybe. Was she Luke's? Maybe. Or was she just some girl from the academy? Also, maybe. And that's why she can see these visions of the stuff happening at Luke's academy being destroyed. So yeah, that was my favorite. And then they just like wiped her mind and took her to Jakku. I thought that was great.
I never heard that one actually.
Really?
Her being part of Luke's academy. I never. All the speculation, everybody's theories online. I've never seen that one. That's an interesting one. I really like.
I thought that was a strong one.
That would have been cool. Wow,
that's a good one.
And that could have made her a nobody, as she was intended to be with the Last Jedi.
Could have been. She could have been nobody. She could have been somebody. But either way, it was like she was there and had a connection with Kylo Ren from the start. Did you have a favorite theory, Kevin? Do you have one?
I don't know that I had a favorite. I at the time I thought the Kenobi was the most likely. I don't know that I had a favorite. I still love the idea that she could be a nobody, like from beginning to end. That would have been my preference for the character. But I mean, I don't know. In terms of all the speculation, though, I just ate it all up. I don't know that I really had one that I was like, ooh, that's. But I hadn't heard that one from you either. Really? That is a good one. I like that one.
It wasn't even from like irreputable sources on YouTube, because there's a lot of those going on too. Not gonna name names, but Ryan, did you have any other like favorite theories for her?
For her, I liked the Kenobi one. I liked the Luke and Mara Jade one. I mean, people were saying that. I like that one. I like the Han and Leia one too. I thought that was, for me, until we find out. Well, actually, no, it doesn't matter at that point, because she wasn't a Palpatine yet. So I like the idea of her being related, the daughter of Han and Leia, and and it made me think maybe that's why Kylo wants to find her so bad, because it's his sister and he wants to corrupt her too, because he's upset with his parents. So
it played in pretty well, I would say. Snoke speculation. There was a lot about him as well, and it was all the speculation was like based on his face scars, which I thought was really funny, because it's like the dude is like, his whole face is misshapen. It's not just scars,
deformed.
So like I didn't really. If you look, Ryan's got his visual dictionary back there. The visual dictionary actually has some interesting Snoke information in it, I believe, where it says, he was around during, like, he was hundreds of years old. He was there for the rise and fall of the Empire and the Republic and all that. And so he's definitely one of the characters whose story changed. Right? Like there was an idea, and then Ryan Johnson says, "Hey guys, I am going to do none of the things that you wanted." And then JJ says, "No, I am going to go back and make all of the things I wanted again after you said no." He was one of the casualties of that as well. with Snoke coming back to Palpatine. But I do think the Snoke speculation was fun too, about who he is or who he could possibly be. Less interesting than the Rey, but I did think Snoke was a very interesting character as well. I thought he was going to be the big bad for the whole trilogy.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
Yeah, I like the idea that he might be some sort of like ancient, like bad just guy. Dark side entity that's just been kind of lingering in the peripheral or something. Yep. That would have been really cool. But
Ryan, did you have Snoke speculation talk?
know if I ever speculated who he was, but I remember them. Like I remember there was one people thinking he was Darth Plagueis the Wise. I remember
Yep.
Yeah, I
people
remember
thinking he
that.
was the youngling that said Master Skywalker. There's too many of them. What are we gonna
I
do?
remember that one.
People
Yeah, I
speculated he
remember
I
was
that
forgot
one.
about that one.
Mace
Yeah,
Windu as well. So
Mm,
people were coming up with like the
that'd have been a
most
tough one
random
to pull
yeah.
off.
theories. So yeah, I wasn't really thinking too much about it, but I was intrigued by him. I was very intrigued,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know if he's Mace or Plagueis, but they were like, it's the height. He could be Plagueis, but
Just his head wasn't conical enough.
yeah,
The
it's just
right shape.
something happened
Wrong.
to it.
Yeah, I really did like the idea that, like Kevin said, he saw all this, and so now
Yeah.
he's doing it the way
Yeah.
he would do it, and
Mhm.
then it's the rest is kind of history there. I think Snoke is actually one of the biggest casualties of the sequel trilogy, like the what could have beens. I
Yeah.
think that is actually like a really big miss there, because Snoke could have, he was very interesting, and then he becomes kind of disinteresting because they just discard him, hands and all. But that's not the discussion of the day. Answering the original question. We're an hour in, so we're going to wrap this up. Answering the original question: how does The Force Awakens stack up to the test of time? You look at the prequels, I think they aged very well, at least for our generation. They're still like got the corny lines and all those things. And we kind of look back on them semi-fondly now, and we just deal with it. But the prequels aged well. I think episode 7 in a vacuum holds up. I think it's a great movie to watch, whether you like the rest of the sequels or you don't. I think you can have a lot of fun with 7. It brings that fun of Star Wars back. It feels kind of like home. The Chewie we're home. That's a great descriptor of this movie, right? I do think episodes 8 and 9 don't help it for me personally. I'm not speaking for everyone else. For me personally, the rest of the story kind of spoils it for me as terms of how it holds up long term. But just throwing on 7, it's on TBS and I'm watching it. It's a good time every time. I enjoy it. If I can just look at it as episode 7.
Yeah.
Ryan, you like the sequels. So does it hold up well?
I do. Honestly, for me personally, because I've seen comment sections, a lot of people
Yeah.
said once they saw the whole trilogy, it doesn't hold up any longer because of where it went. But I think, you keep mentioning it. Just looking at it as a vacuum, I think it holds up. And it's a great start to the trilogy. So I'm a fan of it in both ways. I always have a good time watching it. It's just such a fun throwback movie that's recent. And it's like, I mean, I don't mean this because it's like A New Hope, but it's like A New Hope in that it could have just been one movie, like A New Hope was. It's a fun space fantasy adventure. You can put it on if you just want to watch one adventure without thinking of sequels.
And that's how I actually watch episode 7. It's a good, just throw on one. It's that, Rogue One, and A New Hope are probably the best ones just to throw on just for one. It's a good time.
Yeah, for
No
sure.
context needed.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I guess a little context needed for episode 7. But
Yeah.
but it
Little
tells
bit.
you in the crawl.
Yeah.
Kevin, what do you think about how it holds up 10 years later?
I mean, yeah, no, I agree with both of y'all. I think it holds up fine. And I think the evidence is that, when the movie came out, there was not a lot of negative dialogue around the sequels. That came later. And I hear people's complaints with 8 and 9, and I get those, but any of the complaints I heard about 7, like, to me, that's just like, you're really reaching. Like, you're looking for things wrong. And I do think the environment after 7 proves that, right? Because this negativity didn't really exist to that extent after 7. By and large, it was well received. And so I think that's evidence in itself that standalone, it was a good movie. And I think it has aged well. I still like watching this movie. I think the people that didn't like 7 or maybe just the people that are mad that, Disney didn't, come by and, copy their fan fiction they had written or something.
Yeah.
So,
or do the Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, I'd have been okay with that, but I would never say no to the Thrawn trilogy. But no, no, I think it's a great movie, and I think it's a good Star Wars movie. So,
Yep, agreed. I think when we look back in 10 years, it'll probably be the same opinion of 7. So yeah, good movie all the way around. Maybe in 10 years they'll put it back in theaters for us to go watch. I would enjoy that.
That'd be nice.
Since we're not doing it this year.
Yep, I would go.
So next week will be our last one of these for the year. I will be taking a little bit of time off. I might go solo on a couple if I'm bored. Probably not though. But last one for the year next week, and we're gonna look ahead to 2026. So we're gonna talk about what we're looking forward to, and then once 2026 gets here, we'll figure out what our last few non-freebie episodes are, because we're gonna go right into Darth Maul. We're gonna have Mando to talk about. We're gonna have Ahsoka season 2. We're gonna have some Visions, probably a Tales of the Something. It's gonna be a busy year, so we're gonna speculate on that year, and then we're gonna get into it. So thank you guys for watching. Let us know your episode 7 thoughts below. Sorry if you have never seen episode 7 and we just spoiled it. Han Solo does die. We will catch y'all next time.